Brava wrecks Skeptic, a bunch of familiar old faces return, and some of the villains join the heroes. Let's talk about all of this and more as we dive right into the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. So My Hero Academia Chapter 378 is finally out, and with it we not only get to see the aftermath of Brava's introduction to the War of the Fate of the My Heroverse, but we also get bombarded with old friends, and there's a twist at the end I don't think anyone was expecting. They're back! But before I begin, don't forget to Detroit smash that like button and slide on into that subscribe button's DMs to hit that notification bell. And now, without further ado, let's jump right into My Hero Academia Chapter 378, titled The Story of How We All Became Heroes, Part 3. This chapter opens up exactly where the last chapter left off, with resident small girl Brava hacking into Skeptic systems as she reveals that this isn't the first time she has done this. As back in her self-proclaimed shut-in era, the time of her life before she met Gentle, she hacked Skeptic's company Feel Good Inc. for fun, filling the company's home screen with Ganriki Nekos, which are basically cats with huge eyes. And as if to rub it in the present, she floods Skeptic screens with dancing big-eyed cats once again, causing Skeptic to freak out again. Skeptic, realizing he's been made, tries to flee the area, turning two of his most important computers into humanoids with his quirk Anthropomorph. A quirk I entirely forgot he had. He should probably use that more. Back with Brava, the police notice that although the system has been restored, UA is still falling. To which Brava states that there was too much damage done to the floating structure, so she will need to create a new system that will work with the remaining parts. But as it stands, she won't be able to make it in time. Detective Sukuuchi, still a bit skeptic of teaming up with former villains, doesn't like to be reliant on Brava to save the day. But then he remembers poor Aoyama desperate to help the heroes and the possibility of change that he represented. Following this, the story then cuts back over to UA, where Deku, still facing off against Shigaraki, remembers what the villain said to him in the last war, that not understanding each other is what makes them heroes and villains. Mandalay of the Wild Wild Pussycats, now aware that UA is plummeting, warns everyone and they all begin to evacuate the structure. During this evac, Kaminari and Manga Fukudashi of Class 1B, in seeing the Twice clones, begin to worry about the condition of Aizawa and Monoma. Also, with all hell breaking loose on the structure, the US jets that helped Midoriya get to it consider firing lasers at Shiggy and the Twice clones to help the heroes. But they ultimately decide not to in case they accidentally hit an ally. So, the heroes are failing, UA is in chaos, and all hope seems lost. But it is in the darkest moments where the stars truly shine the brightest. And luckily for the heroes, a true star has arrived. As we see, hopping along the top of the ocean right under the falling UA is none other than Gentle Criminal. Or as I should say now, Hero. He's back, baby, and he's looking as majestic as ever. I mean, just look at that beard. Glorious. But before we can see Gentle in action, the story briefly cuts back to Skeptic, where we see that before he can even make it out of his hideaway, he's confronted by a group of heroes, including Miss Joke, Hound Dog, Shindo, and Nakagame. It's the return of Earthquake Boy and Turtle Girl. Back at the control center, Sukuuchi and Brava both wish Gentle good luck, as a flashback shows us that after Muscular killed all the guards at Mikuzu Prison, the prison Gentle was being held at, and let all of the inmates free, Gentle confronted his fellow inmates and asked them if they really want to continue on this path of villainy. In this moment, Gentle himself remembers the gorilla policeman telling him that anyone can start over, and he recognizes his own failures. Unfortunately, Gentle is the only one to feel this way, as in response to Gentle's question of morality, the villains, being the villains they are, charge and prepare to attack and kill Gentle to get him out of the way. This charge initially terrifies our beloved showman, who begins to tear up in fear. But then he thinks back on his fight with Midoriya, and these fears and tears are quickly replaced by burning passion, as Gentle not only fights back, but he manages to stop and capture every single one of the inmates attempting to flee. My man Gentle went on a rampage. Dude went full superhero. After the police arrive on the scene and they see what Gentle has done, they ask him what he wants in return for his service. To which the showman replies that he just wants to meet meet with Brava, as the time they've spent apart has only made their love stronger. Come on, how can you not love this guy? And following this, the story cuts right back to the present, where we see Gentle muster his power and hold up the entire UA structure using his super move, Gently Super Lover. It's also important to note that Gentle is powered up by Brava's quirk here, and as he stated, their love for one another is stronger than it's ever been. This means that Gentle is also currently stronger than he's ever been. That's the power of love, baby. Having successfully saved UA from crashing, Gentle thinks about the first time he tried to save someone and failed. And he wonders if the young man who he once fought but also reached out a hand to him is still fighting to protect someone's smile. And following this, back in UA, Mandalay informs everyone that UA is no longer falling thanks to what looks like an air trampoline, which Deku recognizes as Gentle. But before Midoriya can think of anything else, the fifth user of One For All, Banjo, appears and shouts at him that Shigaraki is moving once again. Shigaraki then quickly tries to place his hand on the ground and activate Decay, but before he can, his hand gets shot clean off by a familiar bullet. And with this, chapter 378 comes to an end, as Sukuuchi says, even though they are villains, I choose to believe in something that exists deep within their hearts, their origin. As we see none other than a heavily bandaged Lady Nagant on top of a building with her rifle out pointed directly at UA. Holy crap, this is amazing! Overall, phenomenal chapter, 10 out of 10, chef's kiss, mwah, perfection. Not only did we finally see the return of the king of the camera himself, Gentle, but best girl assassin Lady Nagant as well. It's like Horikoshi wrote me a goddamn fanfic. I love it. It's safe to say Horikoshi is back in the game. I mean, characters aside, the paneling and art in this chapter were great as well. The shots of Gentle are so detailed and everything looks so clear and crisp. I also do want to mention that in the second last panel, as Sukuuchi is making his speech, we do see All Might leaving the safety of the control center with a mysterious briefcase. Could All Might have a way to fight in this war as well? Who knows? And who knows what's going to happen next? But let me know what you thought of this chapter. If you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like and comment what you think is going to happen next. For more My Hero content, subscribe to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra.